Canelo comes out there what Canelo should do, Canelo wins the fight. Yeah. If Canelo comes out and does what he shouldn't do, Crawford wins the fight. Yeah.
With Crawford, what are Crawford's keys to victory when you are fighting someone like Canelo, who, albeit maybe not in height, but in stature, is a much bigger man than him?
Control the center.
The boxing world is buzzing with predictions as Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford have signed for a mega fight. Many boxing legends and analysts have weighed in on how this fight could go down, and the opinions are split. Some believe that Crawford's skills give him a real shot at victory, while others argue that the size and power of Canelo will be too much to handle. Boxing legend Mike Tyson disapproves of a Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford matchup. He believes Crawford struggled against Israel Madrimov due to size and awkwardness, suggesting a bout with Alvarez at 168 pounds is unwise.
Think about Terence Crawford calling out Canelo.
You know, I don't like that fight.
Why not?
I don't like that fight. It's just too much weight. You know, and he had a close fight with the last guy he fought, Terence, because this guy was big and he was awkward. He was really awkward. He shouldn't have fought that guy. He should have fought a guy that just come straight at him. The guy was too awkward.
He's hurt and jerky. Yeah.
David Benavidez has a very interesting take on this fight. He believes that Terence Crawford actually has a good chance of winning. In fact, Benavidez wouldn't be surprised if Crawford pulled off an upset because he has the skills, mindset, and work ethic to beat Canelo.
Come to fruition in September. What are your thoughts on that bout?
I have nothing to say. It's a good fight. And it's a good fight. I wish both of them the best.
All right, next question. Do you use that for motivation at all? Like Canelo's like, you know.
I definitely do use that as motivation because if I was such an easy fighter and target, he would have came and beat me already. Just for him not fighting me lets me know how dangerous I am.
How would you approach a fight?
Is there scissors? Is there scissors? Ask for scissors. Go ahead.
How would you approach the fight with Terence Crawford if it was you against Crawford?
To be honest with you, if I fought Terence Crawford, I would definitely use my size, my reach, my weight to my advantage. Crawford is a very smart fighter, but I guess thankfully.
However, at the same time, Benavidez admits that he doesn't really want this fight to happen. He points out that Canelo is the money fight, and everyone wants a shot at him, but Crawford moving up that much in weight is something he personally doesn't agree with.
Throwing his hat in to want to fight Canelo at 168.
I mean, everybody wants to fight Canelo. It's the money fight. You know what I mean? I think even Inoue would come up to fight Canelo. Canelo wanted to fight him. I mean, I don't want to see Crawford to fight Canelo, to be honest with you, but it would be. I'm not saying it wouldn't be a great fight. It'd be a great fight, but I feel like if I deserve my opportunity, and and after this fight, what else are you gonna say? You know what I mean? This is a tough fight. You know, the top WBC, the top people ranked at the WBC are fighting each other. So I mean, it should be an easy call. If I can't get those fights, then I'll go up to fight Bivol, or I'll go try to, you know, I set my conquest on 175. Like I said, I don't want no handouts either. I want to, you know, earn my spots everywhere I go, even at 175. But you know, I see that weight class, you know, I want to become champion at 175. And
Alexander Usyk, a master technician himself, sees this fight as a battle between size and skill. He acknowledges that Canelo is naturally the bigger fighter, which will play a role in the fight. However, Usyk is putting his faith in skills over size. He thinks that Crawford, being the sharper and more technically gifted boxer, will have the edge. According to Usyk, skills win fights, and in his eyes, Crawford is the better boxer.
Between Canelo and Terence Crawford.
Yeah.
How do you see that fight? Who do you like?
Terence. It's
wow.
My friend, but it's crazy man. Listen, I say Terence win. Yes.
What? Terence win over Canelo.
Yes, Terence win. But listen, Terence is different man. Terence work in две стойка.
Two sides.
Two sides.
Right.
And
And
right,
switch hitter.
yes,
He's a switch hitter. Yes.
Right and left. But it's very smart man. It's very, very, very smart. But feel distance and plays like
Adjustments.
Spacing,
Exactly.
boxing.
You don't think the weight difference will be a factor too much?
Mario, you're asking him?
That's why. That's why I'm asking. Exactly.
Canelo big. Yeah, Canelo too. It's a good boxer. but I say.
Wow. Roy Jones Jr., another legend, has given his prediction for this fight, and he sees two different outcomes. He believes that if Canelo comes into the fight in top shape and fights the way he should, then Canelo will win. However, if Canelo is not at his best, then Terence Crawford will take advantage and secure the victory. For Jones Jr., the fight depends entirely on which version of Canelo shows up that night.
People are saying like, hey, forget about Canelo. That was a tough fight with Madrimov. Go ahead and give Boots a shot. Give Boots the chance. But Eddie's saying, hey, I think Crawford's saying, hey, give me the Canelo fight or I'm not fighting. I'm done.
Why? What he got to prove to Boot? Boot trying to take over and start beating the guys around him, prove that he's the best of that group. Bud is in a group above him. Bud don't need to come back down to 47 to meet him. That's crazy. Why would he? Bud looking to try to make history and get out. Get his big bank and get out. His big bank is who? Canelo. He willing to take that gamble, see if he can beat him. If he beats him, he may go fight Benavidez nigga. If he don't beat him, he say, okay, I took it as high as I could go. I'm done.
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy if he gets the win.
Sean Porter, who has shared the ring with Terence Crawford, has some concerns about this matchup. He acknowledges that Crawford is a tough and resilient fighter, but he wonders whether he will be able to absorb Canelo's power. Porter knows firsthand how physically strong Crawford is, but when facing a fighter like Canelo who has knocked out bigger men, it could be a different story. He believes that while Crawford has great defensive abilities, taking punches from someone like Canelo could be a serious challenge.
No, that's 2 more weight classes. Like once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he still got that kind of steam. But, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another. You know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out.
Amir Khan, who has fought Canelo in the past, is outright warning Terence Crawford to stay away from this fight. Khan knows what it feels like to be hit by Canelo, and he doesn't think Crawford should take that risk. He believes that moving up to 168 pounds is just too big of a jump for Crawford, and that it could end badly for him.
Look, I like Crawford, and I think Canelo is a beast that way. Honestly, I would advise Crawford not to do that.
Canelo versus Jamel Charlo playing out.
I think Canelo just outboxes. Well, no, doesn't outbox him, but I think just outpowers him and beats him to the punch. And you do give Canelo does have some sort of decent speed as well. So I think Canelo just wins that fight easy.
Would it be a knockout?
Could be, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Former champion Caleb Plant believes that Terence Crawford is strong and has a unique boxing style that makes him dangerous in any fight. He acknowledges that the weight difference is a factor, but also points out that Crawford has proven his ability to adapt. Plant thinks that Crawford's boxing IQ and strategy could play a significant role in this fight, making it more competitive than some expect.
Not a regular guy, you know what I'm saying? He's special. And, Canelo, he's a top-notch fighter, world-class fighter, still on the pound-for-pound list, I'm sure towards somewhere near the top. And, it's exciting. Terence is freakishly strong. He can punch. He's got good crack. He can fight from both ways. Orthodox, southpaw. He can fight at mid-range, close range, outside. And he can fight going both ways. So it's exciting. It's exciting. It's a big question mark on the end of it, though. So that's why, I'm sure all of us are excited for that bell to ring and, be able to find out.
Teofimo Lopez isn't giving Crawford much of a chance in this fight. According to Lopez, Canelo is simply too big, too strong, and too experienced at higher weights. He believes that at some point in the fight, Canelo will land a big shot that will end the fight by knockout.
What round does Crawford get knocked out? I'm gonna put 8. Let's put it on the universe. So I'm gonna put it on 8. 8. And if it goes the other way, I 8. I 8. So So yeah, Ryan joined Eddie Reynoso also. That'll be cool, man. We all get work. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have our own underground boxing, me and Ryan, before we fight.
Ryan Garcia shares a similar opinion to Teofimo Lopez. He believes that Canelo's size and strength will be too much for Crawford to handle. Garcia respects Crawford's skills, but he doesn't see him having the physicality needed to deal with a fighter like Canelo at 168 pounds.
Great fight, too. I can't believe they made that happen. See, Turkey's been making a lot of great fights happen. You can't really hate on it. But I'm excited for that. I know Canelo, he's so big, so strong, and I think he'll be just too big. I mean, weight classes matter for a reason.
Last question, Ali. He said Teofimo and Boots are going to be on your October undercard.
Oh, yeah,
and
I
the
heard
winners
that.
would fight each other. Is that what you were told?
I didn't know that, but I'm
What do you
down.
think of that?
I don't care. Let's do it. I wanted to fight Teofimo too.
I gotta do this. I agree with you that there's a lot of sanctioning bodies, there's a lot of promoters, there's
Yeah.
more testing organizations, not just one.
100%.
Tell me about that. Why are you so adamant about that black corner?
I think that when a coach is pushing a certain organization, it just strikes me off weird. And for it to be like a mandatory thing, like, why can't I use another organization, you know? But again, I don't want to talk about it.
Veteran trainer Joe Diaz is very clear in his assessment. He doesn't think Terence Crawford has any chance of beating Canelo. Diaz states that Crawford is a great fighter, but when it comes to this specific matchup, he doesn't see anything in Crawford's arsenal that could trouble Canelo. He believes that the size difference and Canelo's power will be too overwhelming.
They say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting American. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing. Okay, Madrimov is a 54-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's 2 more divisions. Canelo Alvarez will take any punch from Crawford, but I don't think Crawford will take any punches from Canelo. Remember, Canelo got hit by Triple G, the heaviest hitter in that division. And Canelo took those shots like a champ. I don't think Crawford has anything to...
Promoter Eddie Hearn also has some reservations about this fight. He acknowledges that Crawford is an elite fighter, but he points out that the weight gap is simply too much. He also argues that even if Canelo beats Crawford at 168 pounds, he shouldn't receive much credit for it, because he's beating a naturally smaller man who started at 140 pounds.
Crawford going to be able to bridge this weight gap?
Yeah, I don't think he can, in all honesty. I mean,
Yeah.
he might not be able to bridge it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So
One weight
at
class.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35,
Mm.
35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many.
Mm.
And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like, he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized against Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. But you have to use your movement. If you're Terence Crawford in that fight, the last thing you want to do is stand and trade. He'd be moving a lot in that fight, trust me. I'm not saying he'd be running, but he would be moving a lot. Of course, that's the way.
Conor Benn has a more balanced perspective on this fight. He believes that both fighters have an equal chance of winning. In his eyes, it's a true 50-50 fight where anything can happen. While many are favoring Canelo because of his size, Ben thinks Crawford's skills and ring intelligence could make it a very even contest.
A beating on anybody 154, 160.
But not 68.
Nah, Benavidez is...
Oh, Canelo. Yeah.
Oh, Canelo. I think he's a smart fighter. He doesn't rely on his power. Crawford ain't a fighter who just relies on his power. And then Canelo, when he's fought Belenga, then fought Ryder, Munguia. It's even. I think it'd be a 50-50 fight if Crawford fought Canelo.
Shakur Stevenson is fully backing Terence Crawford. He believes that skills pay the bills, and in this case, he sees Crawford as the more skilled fighter. Stevenson also dismisses the idea that Crawford is too small, arguing that he is bigger and stronger than people think.
Yeah. And I feel like, truthfully, he's not as little as people think. Like, people think he, like, very small.
He cut weight to get the 147, 154.
Yes. Yeah. He's not as small as, like, people think. It's just he look like it. Yeah. So, like, if you see him in
person,
and he get on a scale or something, you wouldn't believe that's his weight.
I told somebody the other day, he might get on the scale weighing like 166, 167 fighting Canelo, and people wouldn't believe how ripped up and cut up he'll still look. He won't look like he's overweight Terence Crawford. He gonna look like a solid Terence Crawford.
I think he beat Canelo though. I've been saying, I remember when he fought when they fought. Go watch an interview after the fight. I literally said, I think Terence Crawford would beat Canelo.
Okay, I wouldn't say that.
A long time ago. Yeah. No cap.
I did tell him after the Smith fight, I said, man, go get Canelo. You the greatest. Yeah. This era.
For sure.
Yeah, it's no question.
No question, yes.
Actually, back to the you and Terence working together, because you've shared everything you've learned from him. There was fans doing their homework in the Avanesian fight and in the Spence fight saying, actually, it looks like Terence may have taken a couple things from Shakur.
Jeff Mayweather is another boxing figure who respects Terence Crawford's skills. He believes that skill-wise, Crawford is the better fighter. However, he warns that you can't just take Canelo lightly.
But if anybody can do it, I think it would be Terence Crawford. I mean, skill-wise, I think he's a better fighter than Canelo, but Canelo is also a great fighter but he owns that weight class that he's in. So I would just say that I think that Crawford has to fight almost a perfect fight to win, and take advantage of Canelo's mistakes.
Yeah, so we have, is it almost kind of a battle of, we have two guys, obviously the best, two of the best 3 or 4 boxers in the sport, regardless of weight class, but, which one is closer to the version of their prime, right? They're both getting older. I mean, they're both still, very, very good at this point, but, do you think maybe one of them it's time for them to start falling off, and that might be the difference in this fight, that one starts to trail off a little bit?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, both guys are aging, and you never know. You never know when they're going to show their age. So it could be either one of them that does that. But I mean, I just lean toward Crawford because dude has so many skills, and I mean, I just see that him possibly winning the fight.
Trainer Stephen Breadman, Edwards believes Terence Crawford can defeat Canelo Alvarez by utilizing his superior mobility, reach, and stamina. He emphasizes that Crawford's ability to fight effectively while moving and his mental resilience will be key factors in overcoming Canelo's pressure.
But Crawford is just so clutch. His conditioning is so good. They're going to be about similar heights. Crawford's a little taller. He's longer. And I think that Crawford's adjustments in fights are so underrated. He is a master adjuster. He finds something in every fight and just goes with it. That last fight, people talk about he struggled. You know what he found that last fight? A simple jab. He just started beating the guy up with a jab. He finds something in every fight. And he don't fight a lazy fight.
Legendary trainer Teddy Atlas is confidently picking Terence Crawford to win. According to Atlas, Crawford is simply too good, too smart, and too well prepared. He believes that Crawford's ability to adjust and his overall ring IQ will lead him to victory. For Atlas, it's not about size, it's about skill, and he's convinced Crawford has what it takes to win.
Done deal. Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez. Early thoughts? What do you think?
Yeah, look, the first thought is, can he handle the weight jump?
Can he handle the weight jump? He being Crawford against Madridov, people are going to say, "Oh, he had some hiccups." Who don't have hiccups? When you eat something that's a little difficult to eat, and Madrimov was a little difficult to eat. He's not easy to digest. He's a good fighter. When you eat something that's a little tough to digest, you get hiccups, right? So come on, he's human. So he had a few hiccups. He won the fight. He's Terence Crawford. A lot of people say, "Oh, Teddy, you make him so good. You're always saying how great Crawford is." But who's he beating? He unified the what was his first division? Lightweight. Then he unified the junior. Then he unified the junior welter. Then he unified the welter.
Sports analyst Ariel Helwani discussed this fight with his co-host, bringing up an interesting point. Canelo is getting older, and there are questions about whether his legs are still as strong as they used to be. Meanwhile, Crawford is a skilled switch hitter who looked great in his first fight at 154 pounds. Helwani believes that Crawford is getting more comfortable at a bigger weight and that he has been preparing for a challenge like this for a long time. His high boxing IQ could make this a very competitive fight.
He did all right in his first fight at 54, but now he'll get more comfortable as a bigger guy. He's actually not that small, this, that, and the other. Yesterday on my program, Ade, I spoke to David Benavidez, and I asked him about this fight, and his response surprised me. I want to play this clip for you and get your response to David's answer. Here it is.
It's a good fight for both of them. Good fight for, I think it's more important for Crawford than anybody, but I think if anybody could beat Canelo, I think Crawford could.
Yeah, I know you said he could be the guy. What kind of a chance do you ultimately give him?
I think you give him a 7 out of a 10.
Oh, wow, that high. I thought you were going to say 25 just because of the size.
Good. Crawford is good, and I think he's been known that he's going to fight Canelo for a long, long time. And Crawford, he likes to pick up the weight, so I'm sure he's been working on the weight.